Good morning. So I'm going for a jog right now, and I saw that there's a yard sale. So I had an idea. I'm gonna buy some of the jeans from there, cut them up, and make a fabric out of it so that I can use my patterns to cut out pieces to make some more jeans from scratch. Okay, so A, I'm trying to put more money back into my community for this local yard sale, and B, I'm getting myself some materials so I could make a brand new pair of jeans. So if you've been watching my past videos, then you'll know that I just buy jeans from the thrift store and just modify them. But lately I learned how to make jeans completely from scratch, so I want to share that with you guys. So I got 8 pairs of jeans right here, $2 a piece, $16, which is not bad at all. Cause if you go to any fabric store to get fabric, you're looking to pay anywhere from $3 to like $15 for a 1 yard of fabric. Obviously it's going to take some time to cut these up and sew them together to get my fabric, to make my fabric, but that's all right because 8 pairs of jeans for $16 is a really good deal. And the fabric is going to be multicolored, and the weight is going to be like the weights of the jeans are all different, so it's going to be a really cool abstract, if you will, denim fabric. I got a bunch of different colors. I got 1 pair of white, some black, and different shades of blue. So I'm really excited to make this fabric. And like the wise J. Cole says, it's that time. Yeah, I work out of my garage. I got my studio in here. This is where I operate. This is the laboratory. So I got the jeans here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them all. I'm gonna cut them in half from right here to the crotch, and then from the front where the button is all the way to the crotch. I'm gonna cut the jeans in half, and then once I do that, I'm gonna cut the jeans from the crotch on the inside right here along the seam all the way down to the toe. So this is what it looks like after I've cut the jeans in half. So now I'm gonna take it and cut the jeans right here. You see that seam? I'm gonna cut along the line, and that's gonna allow me to open this up even more into like an open canvas. All right, so this is what I mean when I say open canvas. So I'm gonna go ahead and just repeat that process for all 8 of my jeans, cutting the legs in half, or cutting the jeans in half into the 2 separate legs, and then getting them into that open canvas aspect. So this one still needs to be cut on the inside of the legs along the seams as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for all 8 of my jeans, and then I'm gonna get back to you guys so we can go from there. Now, if you're gonna be making fabric like I am from a bunch of scrap jeans cut together, one thing I want to tell you to avoid, and I didn't see this when I was buying them, but you want to avoid jeans that have distressing. Luckily, this is very minor, so it's not going to be a big deal. It might actually add to the look on the fabric, which is going to be a little cool, some distressed detailing, but you don't want a lot because remember, you're going to be using this as an entire fabric. So if you have distressing and you're cutting, that distressing might be on the edge and it might mess up your piece. Like your piece is not going to be a whole, it's going to be kind of jacked up on the edges, and it's going to be hard to pretty much assemble the piece all together. So you want to avoid buying jeans that have distressing. But like I said, this is very minimal, so I don't think it's going to affect anything. If anything, I'm just going to have to be mindful and precise about how I'm cutting it so that I don't cut the edges on the distressing. Okay, so I've got all my jeans cut right here, right? So this is 16 pieces right here, actually 17, because I took a pair of jeans right here that I already had semi cut up, and I just had 1 leg on it. So I have 17 strips right here, And I've actually decided that I'm not going to sew all of them together. I'm just going to sew a couple together so that I can cut certain patterns. There's some patterns that I can cut off of these without needing them to be bigger. So I'm just going to get my patterns and then start pinning them, and we'll start cutting out. So I'm actually going to be using this pattern piece right here from Norris Danta. It's very simple actually to use patterns, and right there's a QR code for like a sew along tutorial on YouTube, which is exactly how I learned. It took me a minute to, you know, get comfortable with making them from scratch and like learning how to read these patterns, because in some pieces, like you could see right here in this piece, there's this little triangle right here, and what that means is to make a notch, like to cut it. And the reason we make those notches is because when we align them with our other pieces, we want to make sure that they're aligning at the same spot. So there'll be a cut here and a cut in the other piece that it's lining up to make sure that it's lined up where it needs to be lined up at. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get these out, and we're gonna start cutting up some of the pieces from the jeans. Also, one thing to be mindful of is you want to make sure you're cutting the right amount. So right here you can see cut 2. I'm going to need 2 pieces of this piece right here. So just be mindful that you're cutting the right amount and that you're marking where it needs to be cut and all that stuff. So you can see here that I've used my pins to pin this. And I've also stacked my jeans so that I cut 2 with one go at it. So I'm not just that, but I'm gonna have in this case it's gonna be the same denim, same color, but for the other pieces I'm gonna mix them up. That way I have a variety of pieces and colors and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use this tracing, I don't know exactly what this is, a rotary cutter, I believe that's what it's called. And I'm just gonna, you want to make sure you're going around as close as possible to the edges, right? That way your piece is as accurate as possible to the piece of paper. So you want to do this for all those. And like I said, you want to make sure you're cutting the right amount out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these up, and then we'll go from there to assembling it. All right guys, so I've got all my pieces cut up, and I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling the pants now, all right? The thing is, I'm not gonna be showing you guys how to do it step by step, because that's gonna take too much time, and that's not what this video is about. I just kind of wanted to show you my project that I'll be doing. So if you want to learn how to do it step by step, I recommend you get this. You can get it at Joann's, that's where I got it at, and scan the code, okay? Because there's a few things that I'm not going to be adding. I'm going to be excluding some stuff. Like there's a godette on the outside of the legs. I'm not going to be adding that to the pants. And there's also a front patch on the legs, and I'm not going to be adding that. I'm going to be just using the patterns and adding my own twist to it, okay? So I'm not going to really show you how to do it. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. So first I've got the front of my legs. So this is going to be the left leg and the right leg. So I like to start off with the front legs, add the inner pieces, and then I like to move on to the back legs and add some of the pieces that need to be required onto the back legs and the back pockets. Okay, so first I'm gonna add all the attachments to the front and the back legs, and then we'll go from there. So now I'm just gonna start sewing my pieces together, starting with the front leg like I had mentioned. So I'm sewing the front, or the inner leg to the right leg. So just sewing, giving myself 5/8 of an inch for seam allowance. I'm trying to make sure that both the edges are as much aligned as possible. And for this project, if you have a serging machine, which I just recently got one, that's going to be a game changer. So I recommend I'm investing into one of those. So real quick, this is what the front legs are gonna look like. This is the inner leg. These are the inner legs that I just attached to the front legs. So now I'm gonna move on to the back side. So I've added my back pocket. So you can see on this one right here and on this side as well. And there's also a mini pocket for the left side only. I'm gonna also add my rivet. So what I've done for that is I believe this is called an awl, something like that. So I went in and from the inside, I poked a hole up right there and you can see where the rivet is actually poking through. So I poked a hole that way I can insert the back side of my rivet. And I have the top right here. So what I'm gonna do is just clip that on right there. Right, and then I'm gonna actually just hammer it. So I like to add a fabric over it and then hammer it. I don't know why. I'm just gonna use this paper right here for a quick demonstration instead though. So mark it with the piece of paper. Quick 2 pounds and there's the rivet. So pretty cool. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and start with the inner legs just like how I did with the front. So I'm gonna attach the inner legs and then we're gonna start working on the pockets. So I'm in my room now and this is where I have my serging machine and a couple of my other sewing machines. So I'm gonna start serging some of these raw edges, okay? If you've never seen a serging machine, what these do is they create a nice finish on the edges so that the edges don't fray, which is gonna be a huge deal. So I've got the pockets right here. It's like I got this one and the other one's somewhere in here. I have a pile of everything. Then I have the components for the zipper and the fly area. Yeah, here it is. So this is gonna be the front yoke for the pockets. And in one of the pockets, I actually added a small coin pocket. The other one doesn't have one. So I'm gonna be serging the edges. And then right here where I added the inner legs to the legs, you can see, so this is the outside, you can see the smooth finish, but on the inside, it has that raw finish. You see that raw edge, and I don't want them framed, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit these with the serging machine. It's gonna clean it up, make it look a lot better, and it's gonna have that, it's gonna give that touch that makes it actually look like it's professionally made, like it's ready to wear, and not something, it doesn't look so homemade-ish. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually put this into my serging machine and I'll show you what I'm doing right here. So the serging machine actually has 4 spools of thread and I don't force it. I'm actually just guiding it, and the feed dogs and everything else is gonna take care of itself. So I like to make sure that I'm keeping this aligned in the same spot. So what I like to do is actually, you can see my thread right here. I like to keep it aligned with the 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. So let me show you what it looks like. It's giving it a nice finish. And there's also a little knife that cuts off excess. So not only is it, you know, stitching it all together, but it's cutting it as it does it to make sure it's flat. And yeah, so the inside of the jeans are gonna look professionally crafted, and it also holds it together. So like I said, this is a beautiful machine. I highly recommend investing in a serging machine if you don't have one. So what I'm gonna do now is actually just finish serging the rest of my pieces and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got my edges all serged up right here, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the pockets now. So I'm gonna sew along the edges right here and just base the edges. Okay, what this is gonna do is gonna create the inside of the pocket, and this is gonna be the pocket lining. So once this is sewn together, we're gonna attach it to the legs. Okay, so I've got my pockets right here and the front of the leg right here. So this is gonna be the right leg. Okay, so it looks like the left, but it's actually the right leg. So what I'm gonna do is with the proper sides facing, I'm gonna sew right here along the edges, okay? After that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it here, and it's just gonna be attached like this, pretty much. And you can see that it'll start to form. So once I do that, I'll sew here. The pocket is gonna be sewn right here as well. Maybe serged, it depends, it's up to you really. But that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. So it starts with the sewing with the proper sides facing. Once you do that, you'll also wanna hit it with a stitch right here to really secure it and give it that extra bit of detail that makes it look, you know, professionally made as it is. So quick progress report. I've attached both sides of the legs. So I've attached the back legs together and then attached them to the front legs, which are attached together, right? So this is what we're looking at right now. I've still got some things to do, like sew the outside together. And I also went ahead and added the zipper and the fly. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Here's the flies, and then the zipper. So almost done. I also added the back yoke, which is this part right here, to both sides. Attached the crotch, made sure it's all serged up. So far it's looking nice. The thing about when you're making stuff from scratch is you really have to trust the process, because it doesn't make sense at first. A lot of it just doesn't make sense and it looks really really strange, but you just got to trust the process and you'll see it all comes together. So yeah, right now I'm just going and singeing extra little hairs from the serging machine. But I'm very proud of what I've whipped up so far. But at the end of the day, the job is not done. The job's not done, like Giannis and Kobe say. Job's not finished. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm actually gonna make the belt loops. So I've got a strip of fabric over here in my fabric section. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fold this up in thirds. And then serge it, sew it, and cut it every 4 inches, and that's gonna leave me with 7 loops. This is 28 inches long, so it's just the right amount of length. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do next. Alrighty, so I went ahead and I finished the jeans. So I added the waist, right, the belt loops, and I also hemmed the bottoms. So I went in with a serge at the bottom of the legs, folded it over just one time, and then hemmed them. And they're all done. I'm super excited to wear them. It was a long process. This was like at least 10 hours of work. So it's honest ass fucking work, bro. And it's not as easy as I make it seem. All jokes aside though, even though it's really not a joke, all jokes aside, I'm ready to go ahead and try these on and just to see what we got. I made these big so that they have a baggy look. I really have been feeling the baggy look lately, so without further ado, let's go ahead and try these on. Okay, so they're all done. It's actually a nice fit. I left out the godettes, and the godette is pretty much, it's like a little strip, triangle shaped, and it goes on the side. And what that does is, since it's like a triangle shape, it kind of makes the pants bigger at the bottom. But I left that step out, so it's kind of just a straight fit. all my other pants that I've made with that pattern, with those patterns, I've included the godette, so they're a little more baggy at the bottom, but not these ones. This one's more of a straight fit. Um, and it's nice, you know, it's a nice fit. If someone wanted to, they could like just wear a tank top, like a, what do they call muscle, like a muscle shirt, and then pull them up. That's not really my style, but let's see what it looks like, because I actually have a muscle shirt under, so you see what I mean? If someone had like a white tank, it's not really a good look on me. I mean, I don't think, at least, but if someone wanted to, they could just pull it off, you know what I mean? So I'm very satisfied with the way they came out. It's a dope look. Just a bunch of denim pieces together, and it feels really comfortable. The pocket lining was made out of this super suede, so it feels good on my legs. Yeah, that's the jeans for me. Oops. Pardon me, just trying to find a good angle. You can pull them up like that at the waist. You can put them down to like the actual hips more, and then complement it with whatever top you want to wear, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Fucking 10 hours later, 2-day process. I was working on it all day yesterday and I still couldn't finish it. I literally worked on it from the moment I woke up to the moment we had Bible study. And by the time Bible study was over, it was already time for bed, so they're done. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, please go ahead and comment. I'd be more than fucking happy to share a bit of my expertise with you guys, whatever I can share. But yeah, I highly recommend anybody who hasn't tried patterns, I highly recommend that you do that. Try some patterns out, and I also recommend buying a serge machine. It can be a little pricey. Luckily, I got mine at Walmart for $200. It's a good investment. So I recommend those two things to anyone who's looking to make clothing. But yeah, let me know what you think. And like I said, comment if you have any questions or concerns, and I'll help you out however I can.